Now, as a TL, let's talk about dealing with chaos and ambiguity. Ambiguity is the name of the job. Not knowing how things are going to work out, not knowing what problem we are solving, not knowing how we are going to solve it, that's what this job comes with. And that can be stressful. Ambiguity freaks me out, honestly. And I had a really hard time transitioning into it, and so do a lot of people. And even to this day, I feel that, I don't like ambiguity, but I accept it. I try my best. And, it can come in various forms and shapes. Chaos. There's too many stakeholders. We don't know what problem we are solving. There's too many voices. You're trying to solve it, but now you're blocked on multiple fronts. Scope is increasing. That's like pretty much an everyday thing for a TL. How can you deal with this? Well, you can be Grogu or Yoda, for that matter. But we are just humans, not Jedis, so. But simply, you want to put on your analysis hat. And generally, that would mean putting all the information together in a map. Once you start visualizing all that information, you can analyze, you can start making concrete things out of it. Then you'd end up with a lot of options as you do analysis, like, hey, we can do this, we can do that. There's like 500 different options. You cut it down based on some parameters, like return on investments, cost, whatever your core metrics are around running your business. You break it by that, bring it to a tractable number, like 3 or 4 options. And then you want to be deciding on those things. And this is where knowing who your stakeholders are comes in very handy. So there's a thing called stakeholder matrix. Look it up. It talks about who makes the final decision, who needs to be informed, all of that, right? I found it to be generally useful. But you want to be deciding. Do not get paralyzed in this analysis mode. Keep moving ahead, and that's how you resolve ambiguity. With that, let's talk about another thing which a lot of TLs ignore, which is tech debt. We must stop creating tech debt, cried Toad as he made some more short-term hacks. That's so common. TLs are doing this all the time, and nothing wrong with this. Sometimes short-term hacks make sense. They make sense in the moment, but tech debt eventually turns out to be a problem, and we'll talk a little bit about it, when it becomes a problem. So to determine when tech debt has become a problem, you need to observe where your engineers are spending time. Are they spending time doing things because there's a lot of tech debt? Have things become harder to do? Or are things breaking down more often because we have built things in a low quality manner because of some timeline pressure in the past? Once that starts happening, you as a TL, as a good TL, would observe it, and you will start communicating to to your leadership that, hey, we are building these features, but it's taking longer because of this and that problem. And as a TL, you are a salesman pretty much. When it comes to these problems, you need to be able to quantify how much it is slowing you down. You need to be able to simply explain to your leadership why it's important to fix it. And if you can't do that, that's maybe it's not a problem. That's how leaders would think. The other is, which a lot of TLs forget to do, is they'll create a lot of short-term hacks, but they have no tracking mechanism. So there's all these ticking time bombs in your code base, but you have no idea. So you want to be able to, create some tracking mechanism so that you can come on a regular basis back to it to figure out, hey, which ticking time bombs do we need to prioritize fixing now? What of these short-term hacks are going to become a problem later? And lastly, yeah, as I said, like prioritize those fixes. Again, it'll go back to communicating with your leadership if some of these take a long time. But tech debt, I feel that a lot of leaders make some short-term decisions for their own benefit. Oh, I want to get promoted, and then it bites future generations. That's not a great mindset to have.